I think one of the most frustrating parts about sitting back and watching this gender war take place is that so many of their thoughts are not their thoughts. They are thoughts that have been given to them. And something I found interesting in the hundreds and hundreds of comments that I had on that video is how many people were saying that it's all they seem to see on their FYP.
So she must have already made a video because she said that video. And I'm gonna do a lot of pauses because I have a very big issue with the gender war. I have a very big battle with the gender war, so I might pause a lot with this one. But yeah, if she said their thoughts are not their thoughts, and that is so facts. That is so facts. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more, but that is so facts.
And if that's not what they look for, even if that's not what they're trying to pay attention to, even if that's not what they enjoy watching, they see a lot of this gender war content, which makes me believe that it's being pushed to us on purpose. And I think about a lot of the talking points that I hear, those are not original talking points. A lot of that has been slow drip to us through our media, through what we watch, through our movies, different methods of programming to further cause that divide, that divide and conquer mentality.
And excuse me, she is speaking so true, so much facts. Because I've said a lot of the things that have to contribute to this gender war is a lot of podcasting, a lot of content being created that, they hate men or they hate women. You see it every day. You see these podcasts where these men bring these women on, the Myrons and this other white dude bring this woman on. And I know sometimes they think they talking sense to these women, but they're also bashing these women. And that Myron dude, he can't get a black woman for nothing. That's why he keeps bashing women. He's a clown. And I don't like guys like that. Guys like that and hood boogers and guys from the hood that manipulates women, those guys are bad, terrible for you. And then you got these women who are overly feminine. Like they're overly liberal and they so into they hate men, and sometimes they say online, I can't believe I'm about to defend a man, as if that is something cruel or something like that's a disease. And they be straight women saying this. And they be like, the whole the man or the bear thing, even though it's a joke. No, some women really do feel like this. They'll choose a bear over a man. And I'm like, bro, like you're straight. You have a whole husband at home. You have a father, you have a brother or a son. Like, do you really think you don't need men? And this gender war has got them to the point where they're not thinking straight, and it's man versus women with everything. Like it's getting worse by the year because these shows and these podcasts and now these movies and these movements is making everybody go crazy and forgetting the whole point of men and women belong together. We're supposed to work together. But I'm gonna let her cook.
Because if you think about it, especially within my community, well, if I can keep them not liking each other, I can keep them from forming strong marriages, which means I can keep them from forming a strong foundation. I can keep them from raising strong masculine leaders in their sons, and I can keep them from raising strong, nurturing, loving women. I can keep them divided. I can keep them from forming strong citizens, essentially, to where now everyone is so much easier controlled.
She is speaking so much facts right now. So much facts. Like you don't get it. Like the black community is like what 13%. And we're the highest ones on this gender war bullshit. Now, yeah, you see the white liberal women go against their conservative husbands or whatever the case may be, but that's just the narrow down of it. That's just the umbrella part of it. Like you white liberal women can find white liberal men and they won't talk too much bad about them, and white conservative women will find a white conservative husband, et cetera, et cetera. They'll do that. But us as black people, we don't break it down like that. We just feel like, hey, you're a black man, you're a black woman, you must be crazy, you must be a bum. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always in our community, we're fighting this gender war to the highest. We're not even breaking it down anymore. Like, all these women are now saying they don't need men, and if they do need men, they need a high value man, and black men are useless, and every man is a bum to them because they make a certain amount of money. Then you got these men who complain about women on a podcast. I'm sitting there listening to you like, are you dumb? Like, You don't even know if you want to choose your wife over your mom. You don't even know if the woman that you want to be with, that's now she gotta contribute more. Like and I'm all for contributing to the bills, but now it's contributed so much that y'all don't need to be together. Like you talk down to women on these podcasts and then on every day on these apps, and you guys get already y'all already have a title where they say y'all don't protect black women, and I know y'all do. Yeah, I know y'all do, but because y'all on these apps and y'all complaining so much, it's almost as if like you hate them, and that's what the women started doing, and now this is a retaliation of it, and it shouldn't be that way. Now, don't get me wrong. Most men do not talk bad about women. They do not. It's those podcast idiots that do. Most men don't care, but we give it up. Most of us are giving up because it's a lose-lose for us. And most women, they feed into the nonsense, even though this is why she said their thoughts are not their thoughts. They feed into the nonsense, and then you start regurgitating, even though you know it's bullshit. Even though you know it's bullshit, you still feed into it, and then it hurts the family. You know, just because something happens on social media, you think it's supposed to apply to your life. And now that it doesn't apply to your life, you don't like that man. That man is not valuable enough for you. He doesn't take care of you. Oh, this man on the internet is taking care of 3 kids and 2 of them are not his. You should do the same. No, it never works like that. You don't know what's going on behind the scene. And then you start hating men. Then you bring these girls group and say, oh, we need to uplift each other because us men hate. No, it's you that hates them. It's this world that makes you think like that. And it's easier to attack the women because they're fighting for their change. Men, we know we're not getting nothing out of this. That's why it's hard for us to complain because they don't hear us. So we stay quiet. That doesn't mean there's not men out there who attack women. There are. But we don't do a lot of the talking.
You throw this at them, they go to war at themselves, they're not actually paying attention to anything that's happening outside of them. And it's so frustrating at how well they've done it. So many of us do not realize that we are puppets and pawns in this thing. And it's even more frustrating for me as somebody who had to learn it all the hard way, because I never come from a place of like superiority, because a lot of the mistakes that I speak about, I had to make them myself. And now I try specifically to help other women from making the same mistakes, because I realized that essentially I got played. Mentally, I was manipulated into believing a lie, and then I had to go make a mess, and then now I have to clean it up, take that L to the chin, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, so they have been using us against each other for quite some time now.
Yep, and they don't want the black family to grow. They do not want the black family to grow. I'm sorry. I see this all the time. This is why you see the black men go after white women, or the black men say, you know, we're going to go after Spanish women, because they're still more family oriented. They don't go after black women no more because it's almost like you're battling yourself. And the same goes for black women. They don't want to deal with black men no more because they have no drive anymore. They don't have no leadership anymore. They're bums. All they know about is staying in their neighborhood, staying in the corner, staying in mom's house. They don't have no growth. And then they're raised without fathers and nobody's pushing them, so they don't care. So the gender war is just pounding on top of all that. It's crazy because there's a show. I'm gonna get to it after this. There's a show. Hold on.
And I think that's what's most frustrating, is that if we actually start to think for ourselves again and pay attention to what's actually happening and have real conversations out in the real world, we will realize that a lot of men and women really just want the same things. We are just battling our own issues. And I know trauma gets thrown around so much, but
I want to say this. I know I'm focusing on the black community. Those are my people. This is for black, white, Hispanic, Asians, Caribbeans, whatever you want to go about it. This is all people. This gender was affecting a lot of people. But, you know, I'm always focusing on my people. But again, a lot of people go through this and they put us against each other. And when I say put us against each other, it's the people who has the agenda, like the people in power. Like, you know, if you are directing a movie, your agenda is to put men against women. People like that is the one in charge. If you making a song or you have a studio, everything is, or write a book, everything is, I'm going to put men against women. Those people need to be held accountable.
it is valid. So many of us are battling our own traumas, that we are fighting each other when we should be turning to each other because we need each other. And I think a lot of us have what the other person needs. It's just we can't get out of the aggression fighting mode and seeing each other as an enemy when we absolutely have a greater enemy, because we didn't do this to ourselves. This is something that has been happening throughout the generations, to where now this is where we are, and it's so frustrating to see. That's why I'm always going to use every platform I have, if not this one, YouTube, my blog, the products I create, anything that I put out, to try and help women to get their minds back, to start thinking for themselves again, because we have been programmed now to believe that how we feel about men is how we actually feel, when it's not. When it's not. You start peeling them layers back, you realize the men aren't the problem at all. Am I saying that they're perfect? No.
She's speaking facts, man. I don't even got much to say about that. And again, she's a woman, so she around the women group more than I am. So she knows how they talk, how they act, how they respond to certain things. I can only speak on what I see on the internet. She has a deeper understanding than I do. But again, she has been speaking nothing but facts, man. It needs to be a regroup, a recreation of all this stuff.
But we have to start thinking for ourselves again, because we are being controlled in ways many of us don't even realize. But I'm trying to get in the habit of not making my videos as long, so I'm gonna leave.
All right, well, this is the end of the video. I'm gonna get to the comments in a second, but I want to, give a final thoughts on this. There was a show. I'm not gonna say it right. I'm not gonna look it up. It's coming up. I'm just gonna say it at the top of my head. I think it's called "It's All Her Fault" or something like that. It was a bunch of white people, and obviously, I'm not gonna spoil it. Go see it. That is the epitome of a gender war, right? Like, the whole purpose of that show is to make the men look bad, and because, don't get me wrong, the husband wasn't the brightest thing in the brightest life in the show, how you want to say it, but I understand where he was coming from. Now, I might not have did what he did, but I understand where he's coming from. But the way the show ended, it made it seem like the smartest people in the room were the women, and I'm like, huh? Like, what? Like, I was confused by that, but then I saw the reason why the show went this way. It was to create the idea that women don't need men. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to take away from the show, but the plot was stupid. The fact that y'all went that route, because I think anybody in the husband situation probably would have did the same thing. But again, shows like that is why I say they are promoting that gender war. If you look at that show, but also in the Black community, you guys say your favorite movie is Wakanda, and I say this all the time. You can't get Wakanda if your family is divided. You can't get that you can live that lifestyle, absolutely you can. But because your family is divided, we're never going to get that. We're never going to get to that point. So at the end of the day, we need to stop this gender war and start looking at ourselves and rebuilding and recreating ourselves and make ourselves into a better situation. I'm not going to give too much into it. Let me go read the comments and let me get out of here. It wasn't a gender war. I read that a little bit. No, it wasn't a gender war until men started speaking. It's being it's being pushed. It's being pushed. I blocked too many accounts for the algorithm to not pick up the fact that I'm not interested. Is the toxic mudslinging? I don't know what that means, but it's being pushed. I block. Oh, okay. I get it. It's being pushed. It's being pushed while there's a legit issue. It's being pushed. Yeah, absolutely. The agenda is being pushed, and we are buying into it absolutely because of the TikTok and stuff like that. Absolutely love the message. Yeah, she did a great job explaining it. For real though, I'm here for anime, edit, sports, art, music, gym content, and funny videos. Look at feminists. There's no male equivalence to feminists. Well, it's not supposed to be, but I get what she's saying. I'm all right. Yeah, there's no male equivalent to feminists. They turn the women against us. Yes, there's no group of men that are really trying to be like the feminists, where we'll block out the women and make them look bad. No, they say it's the patriarchy, but no, that's not it. I love your hair. Yeah, gorgeous hair. My wife would love that hair too. It's the CIA. Why I have to change up my FYP to STEM videos. I'm assuming the search. Oh God, finally sisters are waking up to play. Well, they're waking up. I don't know about that play part, but they're waking up. So yeah, that's it. And the men. Let's not blame all the sisters only. It is. I tried to block accounts, click not interested, everything. Yeah, it doesn't work because it's the game. I want to read this up now. We got to keep liking the content of Sadaq Abdullah. The whole goal is the complete separation of individuals. Yep, they literally know that the people in the majority holds the power, but we need to wake up to that power. One together, and the ones at the top wants to stay at the top. All right, let me finish here. You hit so many good points in this, but the we need each other really resonate for me. My entire world changed when I was having a stress breakdown, and my husband said, "Stop trying to do everything." Facts. You make my life so beautiful. Let me be your bulldozer. Facts. When you need it, that's what I'm built for. Yeah, 100% facts. Even I'm gonna like that if you let me. But all right, man, I'm gonna end it there.